Some paths are meant to be walked, some trails are meant to be admired from afar. But there's one trail, hidden deep in the forest, that seems alive. It waits for the right person to step onto it. And once you hear this story, it may have already chosen you as its next visitor. It's watching, learning, and it never forgets. Before we step deeper into the forest, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Every story here is connected to something larger than itself, and missing one could mean missing a warning that the forest has left just for you. The forest in spring is alive with deceptive beauty. The sun filters through young leaves, casting intricate patterns across the ground. Yet hidden among the familiar trails lies a path few have walked and even fewer have returned from. A path that twists and turns with a mind of its own, bending reality around those foolish enough to enter. Our story begins with a group of friends seeking adventure on a bright spring morning. They're unaware that the trail has been waiting for them, whispering promises in the wind, drawing them deeper. As they step onto the first stones of the path, they notice subtle differences. Shadows linger too long. Branches sway when there is no breeze. A faint, unnerving sense of being watched, a presence that moves just beyond their vision. Their laughter and casual conversation can't mask the unease settling over them. Soon, they find that the trail doesn't lead in a straight line. It loops back on itself in ways that seem impossible. Every rock, root, and tree seems to shift subtly when they look away and then look back. Strange symbols appear carved into the tree bark, their meaning elusive yet pressing upon the mind. The deeper the friends go, the more the forest seems alive with a sinister intelligence. It responds to their hesitation, their fear, their curiosity. Strange sounds echo from distant places that no human voice could produce. Soft taps, faint whispers, a scraping sound that seems to come from just behind the next tree. As they walk, they begin to perceive fleeting glimpses of figures at the edge of their sight. The shapes are tall and distorted, just human enough to make the brain question reality. Then, one member of the group starts hearing a voice calling his name. It's a voice that is unmistakably familiar, yet impossibly distant. He finds himself drawn forward, despite the warnings from his friends, as if the trail itself is speaking to him, directing him, tempting him into the deeper shadows. The forest itself seems to turn against them. Branches begin to close in around them, vines stretching out like living ropes. Thick roots rise from the ground to trip the unwary, forcing the group to navigate with heightened awareness. Every step is measured, every breath is shallow. The sun's position in the sky becomes unreliable, with shadows stretching in impossible directions. The forest seems to fold in on itself, creating corridors where none should exist, tiny clearings that appear only to vanish when approached. The air fills with whispers that tease secrets from their memories, secrets the friends didn't even know they held. Memories of childhood fears, deep regrets, and hidden desires begin to manifest around them. One by one, the hikers start to notice that the trees themselves seem to bear faces when the light hits them at the wrong angle. Eyes peer from knots in the bark. Mouths stretch in silent screams. The trail begins to feed on their fear, stretching, twisting, and looping endlessly. Even when they attempt to retrace their steps, they find themselves back at the beginning. The familiar entrance now looks alien and overgrown, obscured yet somehow still inviting, promising a way out if only they will continue walking. The friends begin to argue. Exhaustion and panic cloud their judgment, and accusations fly as the forest presses in, its cold air filling their lungs. The path starts to whisper more directly, offering them choices, demanding confessions. It promises them an understanding of forbidden truths, if only they will obey. One friend, convinced he can find an alternate route, steps off the path. He disappears instantly, swallowed by the undergrowth, leaving only a faint whisper in the wind that sounds like laughter. The remaining friends begin to notice more impossible phenomena: streams flowing uphill, flowers blooming in impossible colors, and shadows moving independently of any light source. Branches stretch into forms that mimic human gestures, beckoning, warning, or mocking them. As nightfall comes, the forest sounds shift dramatically. The rustling of leaves is replaced by a chorus of faint voices and distant footsteps echoing on invisible surfaces. Pairs of glowing eyes watch them from between the tree trunks, following their every move, calculating every hesitation. One of the hikers begins to feel as if his memories are being peeled away, recollections folding into the forest, leaving him disoriented and vulnerable. Soon the others notice he no longer responds to them, his gaze locked on something unseen. The trail, aware of their growing terror, begins its final manipulations. It forms clearings that promise safety and paths that appear familiar but lead nowhere. The forest expands and contracts, reshaping itself, merging reality with illusion. Finally, the survivors realize they are no longer just walking through the forest. They are inside a place that has absorbed them, a living entity that collects presences, feeding on fear, curiosity, and hope alike. As they move, the trail seems to remember each choice they've made, each hesitation, storing it in the whispers, the shadows, and the gnarled roots beneath their feet. In the most terrifying moment, the remaining hikers see figures at the edge of their perception. They are smaller than human, distorted, emerging from the undergrowth. Their faces are twisted but hauntingly familiar, as if the trail has captured the essence of those who came before and molded them into guardians, observers, and lures for the next travelers. The trail speaks in a language that is felt rather than heard, a presence that bends the mind, offering promises of safety in exchange for obedience. Desperate to escape, the hikers run blindly, yet every choice they make only brings them closer to the center, the heart of the trail, where the forest becomes one single consciousness, aware of all who enter, folding existence into itself. The final revelation is terrifying. The trail doesn't just trap you. It integrates you, it remembers you, it consumes you. And even those who believe they have escaped find traces of it left in their memories, whispers in their dreams, shadows at the edge of their perception. Because the Forbidden Trail waits, endlessly patient, for the next footsteps, the next curiosity, the next fear to feed upon. When hikers tell their stories, they always leave out the details that matter most. The way the air felt heavier as the path twisted, the fleeting figures glimpsed from the corner of an eye, the sensation of being catalogued and observed. Because if the trail becomes aware that it is being remembered, it changes. It adapts, and it waits for you. If this story unsettled you, leave a comment describing what terrified you the most. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and explore the other stories on this channel. Because some trails are still waiting and they never forget who walks them,